So I'm Alex Ward. I'm going to be facilitating this workshop. It's going to be around 3 hours, but don't worry, we've got morning tea and it's going to be really hands-on. So it's not going to be 3 hours of listening to me talk because I don't think anyone needs that. You've all got your pens and papers ready. We're going to have a lot of activities and taking a lot of notes and really take the time to work on your business and your brand, because I want you to walk away with actions from this. You've taken 3 hours out of your day, so I want you to walk away with something really actionable. So just thank you for Frankston City Council for putting on this workshop. There is a sustainability element to it. I am aware you don't all have sustainability initiatives within your business, but don't worry, because Brands for Purpose goes beyond sustainability. All right. First of all, I just want to do a little bit of activity because I want to get to know you and understand why you're here, why you booked in for this workshop, what you hope to gain out of it, and what does sustainability mean to you. So if you just take a couple of minutes and just jot a few notes down on your paper, and we'll just have a bit of a discussion. Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. Well, the reason I did that is because I wanted us to set an intention, because I think once we're clear on why we're here, we're more likely to get what we want to get out of today. And I do know that some of you have a lot of sustainability initiatives already, some don't, and that's okay. My hope for today, at the end of today, it'll got you thinking a bit more about sustainability. And if you do want to look at how you can bring that into your business, Frankston City Council are a great partner to start that with. However, as I said, it's much more than sustainability. It's your Brands for Purpose. It's essentially why you're here, the impact that you want to have, and the story that you want people to tell about your business when they talk about you. So that could be the planet, it could be people, it could be progress. But the important thing about it is that it makes sense for your brand, it makes sense for your business, and it makes sense for your customer. You don't want purpose for purpose's sake. Now you're going to see throughout this workshop, I like this cartoonist, he's a really good cartoonist in marketing. But what you tend to find sometimes is brands and businesses will have a purpose slant because it seems like the right thing to do, or it's the trendy thing to do. But it's got to make sense to your customers first and foremost, because if it doesn't, it's just noise. So we've got to find a way to bring in that purpose that makes sense to your brand and to your customers. But it is important in saying that, because brands that don't stand for something will be disposed of. Now it sounds really harsh, but if you think about it, if you don't stand for something, if you don't show up and have an opinion, you'll be forgotten. If you look at all the big brands out there, all the well-known brands, they all have a really clear message, they all have a mission, and they all have a purpose, something that their customers can really rally behind. So we're going to look at what that is for you today and align with your business. So this is all really good, me standing up here telling you all this, but what does it actually mean? What is a brand for purpose? So I thought we could have a bit of a game and you can get to know each other all a little bit more. So there's 8 of us here, so I'll just get you to split into groups of 4. So perhaps the 2 from behind can join these 2 here. And I'm just going to hand out a bit of paper, 6 logos on it, 6 statements. All I want you to do is match the statements with the logos. All right? Pretty simple? Okay, do I have any competitive people in the room? Anyone like a bit of competition? Yeah? Okay. All right, let's see how we got on and see which team's the winner. Right, I'm gonna go through them. So the first one, Patagonia, to save our home planet. Did you both get that? Yep, perfect. Tesla, to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Yeah? Dove. I think this was an easy one. To help women everywhere develop a positive relationship with the way they look. Salesforce. Now, I did throw in a few B2B brands because I wasn't sure if we had B2B companies in here. So Salesforce, to help people and businesses thrive in building trusted relationships. Did you get those one? You got that one? Atlassian, to unleash the potential of every team. And my personal favorite, which you're going to see throughout this this workshop, who gives a crap, to make toilet paper that builds toilets. Now, I'm hoping everyone got that one right. All right, so I think we've got a winner. The winner here, we got 6 versus 5. Well done. So what did you notice about those brands?
They're doing good for the world.
Yeah, in some different ways, yeah? Yeah.
Some of it's even just like that what their message is overrides their actual practice, like in terms of Tesla, ripping up lithium ain't sustainable.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Guitar because it's cheaper than a battery.
Yeah, I mean, look, marketing and branding sometimes is a little bit of smoke and mirrors, absolutely. So especially when you got Elon Musk running the show. But with all these brands, the one thing they have is clarity. They're all very clear on what it is they stand for or the message that they're putting out into the world. And they're very intentional about that message and what they choose to share. It aligns with the customers and the market that they're delivering it to. And that's what we're going to look at in a lot more detail. But one thing I do know about everyone in this room is every business has a story to share. You all have a reason for being here. You all have an impact that you want to make, and you all have a story to share. So I want to share a little bit of my story so you can get to know me a little bit and show that no matter the business, you have a story and you have a reason for being. So I've always been a lover of stories ever since I was a little girl. So it only made sense to me to want to go and study journalism. When I was younger, I dreamed of being an investigative journalist. I thought I was going to fly to war-torn countries, get to the truth of the story and reveal it to the world. But the world had different plans for me. And when I was studying journalism, I also learned the underbelly of journalism, the ethics, the morals, and I thought, maybe it's not for me. So I didn't end up pursuing a career in journalism. And I sort of stumbled into marketing. But what I realized with marketing is it's essentially at its core, it's storytelling. It's understanding who your customers are, what they're about, what they need from you, looking at your product and your service, and then connecting the two with a really well-told, intentional story. So then when I came over to Australia, because I don't know if you've noticed, I'm not originally from here, I got a job in a global manufacturing firm. And it was my job to fly around the sites around the world and to sit down with the customers to understand why they buy from us, what their trigger point was, why they continued to buy from us, what more they needed from us, and what their future plans looked like. I'd then go back to the company and make sure our global marketing campaigns and sales strategies aligned with the customer. It was just really important that everything we did went back to the customer. You're going to hear me saying that a lot throughout this workshop. After 7 years, I needed a new challenge, so I took on a role at a national firm and I headed up the customer research project and the rebrand there. But again, the universe had different plans for me and I found out I was pregnant with our surprise second baby. So fast forward to just returning from maternity leave and I was made redundant. Now the reason I'm telling you I was made redundant is because it was a pivotal moment in my story. Because the very next day, I registered my business name, Core Story. And it was through that redundancy that I realized I wanted to help other businesses tell their story, grow their brand through getting really intentional about their story and the customers that they serve. So now that's what I do every day through consulting and speaking and running workshops like this. And today I want to help you like get to the bottom of your story and tell it to your market and to your customers. So with that said, we're going to focus a lot on our customers, if you hadn't guessed that already with what I'm saying to you. I cannot stress this enough how important it is, and I see businesses skip this part all the time. They skip past the customer and they're very internally focused. They're looking at their product or their service, their processes, and they're forgetting about the customer. You see it on websites all the time. If you look on a bunch of websites, I can guarantee you'll see we. Your customers don't care. Your customers want to know how you're going to solve their problem and why it should be you. That's it. We're bombarded with noise all the time. Like if I think about my morning already, I've already scrolled LinkedIn. I'm that sad, that's the first thing I do. I've checked my emails. I listened to a podcast when I was walking the dog and I had the radio on the way here. That's already, I've been bombarded with noise. I'm sure you all have too, right? Yeah. Scrolling. The one thing I don't do is listen to the news, and I think that helps my mental health, but anyway.
I love that someone else doesn't.
I
look after my mental health.
But I listen to every news service.
Oh, really?
American, Australian.
I get dribs and drabs through socials,
yeah,
and that's enough because I've got enough going on in my life. I don't need to unravel because I'm an empath.
Yeah, well, I'm the same, and that's the stance I take. I think if it's important enough, someone else is going to tell me. And I studied journalism, so I know you got to take it all with a pinch of salt anyway. But you know, you might think you sound really clever, you're using all these great words and these buzzwords. This is what your customer may be thinking, if they're listening at all. Because your customer is bombarded with the same amount of noise as us, and our brains are very good at filtering out the noise. Well, if they didn't, our heads would probably explode, right? So you want to make sure that you don't become that white noise. And in order to do that, you've got to understand your customer and you've got to focus on them. So for the next portion of this workshop, what we're going to do is we're going to set your business aside for a minute and we're going to put yourself in your customer's shoes and really start to think about them and where they are currently at. So I was going to print out worksheets for this part, and then I remembered this is all about sustainability. So I thought, Alex, don't print out a lot of workshops. There's going to have, yeah. So yeah, use the back of your paper and just follow the grid up on the screen. So what I want you to do is don't think about your customer in a general sense. Think of one specific customer for this, because it's going to help you get deeper. So that could be, you know, a recent customer project, transaction, last client, whatever makes sense for your business. And then for those who have yet to start a business, think of your ideal client, the type of person that you would want to work with, and picture them in your head.
It's like a SWOT analysis, really, isn't it?
Exactly. So I want you to, first of all, think about the trigger. So what sparked this customer to look for you in the first place? Was it a frustration, a need, maybe a recommendation? Then the problem, what were they struggling with before they found you? Then the desired outcome, what did success look like for them? And then your role within it, how did you deliver the outcome? I'm going to give you quite a bit of time, maybe like 10-15 minutes to really work on this and go deep. And if you're stuck or you're not sure, just ask me and we can workshop it together. Does that all make sense? Yeah? So if you could just tell us your business and who is your ideal customer?
I have Showbiz Dance Studio in Frankston. My ideal customers would probably be couples because they're the most sustainable long term. They'll come for years. The bulk of my customers are single people, mid-30s through to mid-60s, even 70s. Single people, their need is to meet new people. They need someone to help them create a social life and to build a tribe for them of adult friends. So it's not a long-term sustainable business model for them, because the better that I do, I move them out into the world, and then the next batch come in, and you get everyone sort of, friendly and functioning, and off they go, and the next group come in. I should say by day I'm a high school teacher, so I don't think I'm into making a lot of money, but I'm into being a good person.
I actually run trade marketing, so I do small, medium business marketing in particular. So I feel like sometimes I'm cheating on some of this stuff.
So who's your ideal client?
My ideal client, usually businesses that have got between 5 and 20 staff. They have been in business for a while, they're established, and they need focus, and quite often they have unfocused marketing, and they have spent a lot of money on what I like to call the agency merry-go-round. They jump on and off different ones, still not really getting any traction. So lots of activity is their problem, and not a lot of measurable results that come out of it.
We're going to talk about that later as well. Same experience.
Their desired outcome is marketing that works and is sort of consistently delivering results without burning out a small team, because the realities of working in a small to medium business are very different to like enterprise level marketing. So there's a bit of that. So my role is just to provide that focus and provide as much teaching and tools as I can to let them kind of fly solo without being a leech and hanging on forever.
So how did everyone find doing that exercise? Did anyone struggle with it? Or was it, do you feel like you really know your customers inside out? Yeah?
I think starting originally was really difficult. Until you do a deep dive in it and really, as you said, you have to set that intention.
True, and it is hard. A lot of businesses do struggle with this because they think if they're too specific, they're going to leave someone out. But when you try and capture everyone, you essentially capture no one, because you're not really speaking to anyone. And the beauty of this is when you get really specific, it's not to say I cannot work with them. It's just you're being very specific, and other people end up being drawn to that too. But it's a mindset shift to get through that. Sorry, were you going to share?
Thinking, I've done this exercise many times over the years, and it's really good because when I started years ago, it was of course I want to make pretty flower arrangements, but now it's from a business perspective, who I'm actually serving. So it's like I think it's good to go over it every now and then, and you realise, as you said, I suppose the different services you offer, like daily flower deliveries, wedding flowers, where do you want to actually market, and then the other work.
Yes, exactly. And when we were speaking earlier, you were talking about a beautiful message that you've got for your brand. I don't know if you want to share with everyone, because I think it's really nice, the message that you've landed to.
Flower delivery. Basically, it's because someone wants to send a message. They don't really want the flowers. It's not about the flowers, it is about the message. So it's maintaining a relationship. And
sorry, I thought I turned it off.
That's all right. And so it's about maintaining a relationship. And through my whole story of after divorce and children and scaling down my business actually to move to Langwarrin, being rejected by my children, and so now I sort of want to help people maintain those relationships when I couldn't maintain the most important ones to myself.
And there's a really beautiful message, and there's a purpose behind that, and it's relating to your story, but it's showing the purpose behind the flowers and what you want to send, and there's a deeper message behind that. So I think that's really beautiful. And I think a lot of people buying flowers would relate to that. I actually sometimes buy myself flowers because my husband doesn't buy me flowers. All right, so everyone managed that exercise. There was nobody that thought, oh, I don't know my customer really well. The reason I asked is because there are a few different things that you can do to kind of get to know your customer in a bit more detail. So do you have a few clients that you've worked with already? Yeah. So one of the things that I would recommend is just speaking to those past clients that you've had, and just gaining a bit of an understanding of, why they reached out to you, what they were struggling with, how they felt about the service, any room for improvement. And the beauty of doing that is you can then capture that as a testimonial. You know, if they've taken the time to give you that feedback, would you mind if I drafted a testimonial and got you to sign off on that, off the back of that? So it's speaking to your past clients is gold because they've already been there and gone through that. Other things that you can do. When I first started my business, I actually went out onto LinkedIn. So I work with B2B businesses, so LinkedIn's my main channel. I actually went out to LinkedIn and described my ideal client and just said, I'd love to just speak to you, ask you a few questions. In return, I'll give you half an hour session for free. So it's even just seeking out those types of clients you want to speak to and asking them a couple of questions. You find that people want to help. And they're pretty happy to give you some time.
Sometimes people just buy from us because it's us. Mm-hmm. So if you're getting those chats with people, like a little conversation, they suddenly know you.
Yeah.
And that's why they want to work with you.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say off the back of that. So when I did that, when I started my business, I got some clients off the back of that. Because once you have that conversation with them, they might actually be like, oh, actually, I need your services. So that's a couple of places you can start. Social media is always a good place as well. If people are commenting or sending you messages, just ask them a few questions. Get you to think about, what do you want to be known for? Now, a lot of businesses don't really think about what they want to be known for. They just think about what it is that they do, but how do people know you? And I've spoke to a couple of you in the break. We were talking about a lot of clients come to you because of the story you tell about you're currently going through it with your dog. So you're known in that area. For me, I do brand messaging. I do monthly organic content with some businesses. I do content strategy. I've just started doing personal brand coaching on LinkedIn. It's not very memorable if I just started listing all the different things I do. But what I'm known for is bringing personality to B2B brands. They stop blending in and become the obvious yes in their industry. So people know me for bringing a bit of fun and personality into usually quite bland industries. So what is it that you want to be known for? I just want you to just do a little reflection, just a couple of sentences. What do you want people to remember you for? Does anyone want to share?
Yes, so I think it comes down, so we've done a mission statement and core values. I say C's, so our core values are the 4 C's, which is care, compassion, consistency and collaboration. And I think that's what we want to be known for, is we work with you, not just come in, do a job, leave. It's about that consistency. We care, we've been there. It's a bit of our story. We want to help your story.
So if I was your ideal client, which from speaking to you, I think I am your ideal client, what do you want me to think about when I think of, what was your business name?
The Healthy Home Rhythm.
What do you want me to think of when I think Healthy Home Rhythm?
That we're supporting you in creating a healthy home rhythm. And that's it. It's about supporting families. We're not helping you. We're not doing, we're not doing it for you. And I think that was what I was really, we were really stuck on for a while, is what's the word? And it's support. We're supporting families to get time back, to... That
right there, what you just said, supporting families to get their time back. That now, I'm like, yes. When you told me the 4 values, I was like, it sounds nice, but it wouldn't get me to use you. But what you just said there, supporting families to get time back, I'm like, yes, please, where's your business going?
Because we all know how precious time is.
Yeah, so it's finding that pain point that people struggle with, and it's, when families, it's time poor and getting that support. Perfect. The next exercise, which is your value proposition. Now, this is arguably the most important part of your message, your brand message. This is the part where it's one clear statement of who you help, the problem that you solve, and why you're different. And this is the one that when I'm working with clients, this probably takes the longest to do, even though it's a sentence or two, because it's so important. It's how you hook people in, and it's how they know who you are. So like that statement that what you just said before, that would be around your value proposition. So I've put up an example of who gives a crap. So for eco-conscious families who hate the waste of supermarket toilet paper, we make recycled fun feel-good rolls, and we donate 50% of profit to build toilets. So not all of you is going to be that around sustainability, but given this was a sustainability workshop, I used that example. I've given the 2 templates. You don't need to use them exactly like this, word for word, but it's just to help with this. So you could use one of these 2 templates to help you go with the value proposition. I'm going to give you a bit of time to work through this. You're not going to get it perfect straight away. It is hard to do, but if you already have a value proposition, I mean, you said you've been in business 6 years, you're 8 years, so you might have something already. Pull up what you have, but then just look at it with a fresh set of eyes from the discussions this morning. And I'll walk around, so anyone that needs help, just put up your hand, it'll help you, and we'll work through this. Yeah. It's really hard. Getting your value proposition is really difficult. It's so much easier to write a page of words than it is a really short statement. But we built up to that by understanding your customer first. So always bringing it back to them. And I think a few of you have worked on some really great statements. And as I said, you're not going to get it straight away, but now you've kind of got the framework, and you've got to keep that customer in mind. You can chip away at it. It will take a bit of time, but you imagine if someone goes on your website, that's the first statement that they see, because you want them to know straight away what it is you do and how you help them. And then you can build your narrative from that. So your value proposition is essentially the door into your business. It's not the entire message. But it's that hook that teases them in. And like we said before, we're bombarded with information. So how are you capturing their attention? It's that value proposition that's going to capture the attention. And then the narrative will tell more of the story. We don't have time to do a full narrative now, but if you get your value proposition right, that builds a foundation to tell the rest of the story. So we're now, the last part of the workshop, we're now going to look at visibility. So once you've got your message out there, how do you get it? Once you've got your message built, how are you getting it out there? And this is where I see a lot of business owners burn themselves out. Or that likely phrase of, throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. There's another ruder one, but I won't say it. And again, it comes down to your customer and knowing your customer. Because once you know your customer and who you're targeting, then you know where you need to show up. You don't need to be everywhere, despite what some agencies might tell you. You just need to be where your customers are. So for me, I work with mostly B2B in the professional services. So I go to one specific networking group. I maybe go to a couple of other events, but there's a specific one where I know my ideal clients are. I run workshops, I speak at events. I use LinkedIn, nothing else. I have got other social platforms, but I don't use it to bring in clients. I'm on LinkedIn because that's where my ideal clients are. I've got a podcast if they want to learn more about me. It's a podcast on leadership and business, and I'm essentially interviewing my ideal clients. So that's where they can learn more about me and then read the newsletter. And then Once they want to buy from me, we can have a call and then go from there. So it's a very clear customer journey of how I attract my clients. Similarly, if I give you a couple of examples, so one of my clients is a law firm and they sell to engineering and construction industry. Quite large ones, a turnover of 50 million plus. So we're very specific on how she markets, and we do very detailed orientated case studies of exactly how she's helped her customers, because that's what engineers want. They want the details. We use LinkedIn. We target CFOs in those companies using advertising on LinkedIn, nothing else. We don't do Google ads. We don't do Meta ads. We just go where the customers are. Another example, I work with a business advisory firm in the UK, and they just work with businesses in the southwest of England. They're of turnover of 1 million to 10 million. They know exactly where their ideal clients are. They do two things for marketing. They hold a local event, they invite local businesses, they do an education piece, and then they can learn more about them. We did one direct mail campaign with a very clear narrative around their customer. We sent it out in the post. Direct mail is still alive and well. That got them 9 clients that are at capacity. They're not on TikTok, they're not on Instagram, they're not on Facebook, they're kind of on LinkedIn, but they don't do much on it. So it's not about being everywhere, it's about knowing where your customers are. The reason I put this picture on, because I often joke to people, it's like a lot of businesses, it's like they're walking into a dark room and they're shouting about what they do, and they're hoping someone's in there, preferably their ideal client, and they're hoping they're listening. It's not a great strategy, and that's how people burn out. And it's why people just say, "Oh, marketing doesn't work," right? So that doesn't work. It's like it does work. Yeah, you've just got to be picking the right channels, and I'm hoping it helps you sigh with relief, because you don't need to be everywhere. So don't listen to people when they say you do. Yeah, so having that presence, but a landing page is fine. Like, you don't need to have a 5-page website. If you have a well-crafted landing page that says what it needs to say, that's okay. Because yeah, and then you can always build. Like what I said, your business is going to evolve as you launch. The best thing to do is to launch. So whatever, if that's going to hold you up, don't let it hold you up. Just a landing page, but a very clear who you serve, like your value proposition, a little bit about you and how they can book you. And I agree, there's always a debate about pricing, but I think having your pricing on is transparent. It's all my good clients that I love working with don't bat an eyelid at the price. The ones where they're like, oh, it's a bit expensive, but yeah, I'll go for it, are always the painful clients. So be transparent and have your prices. But yeah, just have a landing page. But you do need something. I have heard of people saying, oh, social media is enough. It's not, because people will look you up and check you out, check you're legitimate. So we're going to jump into the next part, and this is, as you can see, I love my cartoons, but we're gonna do a really simple customer journey map. Again, so we can look at where you're going to show up and reduce that overwhelm. So there's, whole professions in CX. So this isn't a complicated customer journey map. It's a very simple one. All I want you to do is think about where they discover me. So I've given you 2 examples there: local networking, webinars, where they learn about me, LinkedIn newsletter, where they decide to buy, one-on-one call, website. So if you just put it into those categories and get really, really specific, okay? Because I've heard you talk about TikTok and things like that. Really specific, where do your clients truly come from? I know it's harder for you because you haven't started yet, but if you look at where your clients come from, where do they come from? And then you might be able to drop some channels that you're currently using. And do you have like a newsletter or something where they can just stay in touch with you?
No, we don't. We don't social. We don't newsletter. We don't. No.
Well, this is right. So this is a great.
It's great.
This is a.
It is legit. Let's say we could do those things, but they're not the people we're marketing to. There's no point having ads on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and because our end buyer most of the time is the builder, and the builders aren't on there.
Yeah.
So
But why would you spend that money?
So we do sell to customers that come in and say, we love your product and we've told our builder to go with you. But that's sort of like the roundabout way of finding them. So that we don't spend our time.
Yeah, and this is a great example. I'm so glad I asked you, because you'll hear businesses like wearing themselves so thin, trying to be everywhere, and this is an established business who's telling you she's not needed to do any of it. So you don't need to be on all these channels.
But before all that stuff existed, so that helps that we didn't need to be on there to start.
Yeah. But could you share what we were talking about with your channels? Because I think, that'd be good for all the other businesses.
Yeah, so we were talking about referral partners. So having other people that need your services that can refer your service as part of what they offer. So like for me, builders and developers who say, oh, you need a garden design, or here you go, I've got this person that does that for all of us.
And real estate
agents and flyers.
Your business would grow perfectly well off the back of referral partners, just getting really strong relationships where you can refer business. And flyers. So I was telling her about the other day I got a flyer through the door, because people forget about direct mail, right? And they think, oh, it's got to be email and digital. It's like, the email's so noisy. I got a flyer through the door for a handyman, and he also cleans out gutters. And straight away I was like to my husband, oh, we need that. And we phoned him. Now, if he'd emailed me, that would have gone to spam. I wouldn't have read it. So don't discount flyers. So for quite a few of your businesses, direct mail, perfect. So yeah, when a lot of marketers might say you've got to be on all these different channels and you've got to do SEO and you've got to do Google Ads, for some businesses, yes, but not all businesses. So the idea behind this exercise is just to look at specifically what you need to do for your industry and for your customer base. Did anyone going through that exercise think, oh, there's maybe a few channels that I can probably stop wasting my energy on? Yeah. This is a good tip, especially for small businesses with low budgets. If you've got a long video, like a 20-minute video, there's a few different AI tools that you can use that are really affordable. Yep, cut them up into short clips. And I'm the same, so I've got a podcast. Not many people watch the long form. They might listen to it on Spotify, but the shorts, I'll get, over 1,000 views because it's just little snippets. People just want the little ones. So yeah, Opus or what's the other one? The Script.
Yeah, because I've got right into AI in the last month.
Yeah.
It is, I'm absolutely going to pay for that service.
Is that a paid one, Opus?
You can get a free one, but you've got to pay to get rid of the watermark. But which I always think it just looks better from a branding perspective not to have their watermark, but it's still very affordable. I think it's like $20 a month or something. All right, so we're coming towards the end, and I don't want this to have just been a workshop where you've just wrote some notes down and then you go back to work and you forget about everything that we've done. So I really want us to take some actions from today. So I want you to write down 3 actions that you're going to take off the back of today. So I've given you some ideas. So one thing that you'll refine in your message, one channel you'll focus on or not focus on, and one sustainability or purpose story. That's just an idea, but yours can be different. Just give me 3 actions that you're going to take. And then once you've got your 3 actions, I'd love for you to share with a partner and say it out loud, because when we say it out loud, we're committing to it. And you could take it one step further. I've seen you've been swapping business cards and things. If you swap details with your partner, hold each other to account. So say, I'm going to do this by this time, and then your partner checks in with you and sees if you've done it. Because when you say it out loud and you know somebody's going to follow up on you, you're a lot more likely to do it. So if you can just do 3 actions and share it with someone. right, we're just gonna wrap up, but hopefully you've all shared your details and you'll be able to chat afterwards as well. But I hope that that's helped you just get some actions out of today that you can take away into your own business. And it's been a great group. We've all met some great people. I just wanted to leave you with this message of just keep showing up. You've got this. So again, who gives a crap? I told you I like the brand. They started in 2012 as 3 friends selling toilet paper to fund toilets. Nobody knew them. And they showed up with a quirky tone, a clear story, and they kept going. And they're now a global brand, and they're very well known for what they do. So just keep showing up and keep telling that story, because visibility is not about being everywhere. It's being very clear on who you serve, the story you tell, and it's about repeating that story over and over again until people repeat it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.